The Milwaukee Brewers looking to bounce back after falling to the Atlanta Braves 7-1 yesterday in Game 1. Quinn Priester is on the mound for first pitch of Brewers-Braves tonight at 6:40 p.m. with pregame coverage starting at 6 p.m. right after Jim, Matt, and Molly right here on 100.5 ESPN.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
We're learning a lot about each other.
We got Homer, Matt Hamilton.
Yeah.
We have
Pessimist Molly.
No. Realist.
and then Contrarian.
Total. Yeah.
Jim Rutledge here.
It's Murr.
I'm the flower, Mr.
Mr.
Could it be possible you guys are the best show in ESPN Wisconsin, the whole state?
Yeah, obviously. It's
possible. Anything's possible.
You're the best.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Alongside Matt Hamilton and Molly Brown, here's Jim Rutledge.
It is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light. The mountains are blue. You know what to do.
And that's Crush, a Coors Light. Riley, you can join in on those. Don't feel scared of Jim.
Hey, no worries. I was looking for the hotkeys quick.
He's got a lot going on, Molly Brown. She's Molly
it.
Brown. I'm Jim Rutledge. I have the power in the Everlight Solar Studio. Riley Yauk here today because primetime Wollersheim is in the great city of Chicago today, hanging out with some of the ESPN Chicago crew, getting some tips on how to get better. God knows he needs them. No, he's down there just seeing how they do things at ESPN Chicago. So he'll be back tomorrow. Matt Hamilton will be back tomorrow as well. He's just consuming Coors Lights and fishing. So
I kind of miss Matt.
Neat.
Who do you miss more?
Matt.
844-770-3776. Carlos talking text line. List is more. We won't post this on social to avoid hurt feelings, but you can chime in on the talking text line. Who do you miss more, Matt Hamilton or Ryan Wollersheim today?
What's your answer?
I'll be honest, I can get by easier without Matt than Ryan.
That's fair.
Mainly because I can do what Matt does. Like, I can talk. We can talk sports, and, you're here.
Riley, you should be offended right now. My goodness.
But, Riley, I'm saying I miss Ryan more, but Riley's stepping in, but, I couldn't do what Riley does.
Okay.
Anymore. I used to. I can't anymore. I can give ideas.
Yeah.
But to actually execute all of it, woof, it would be bad.
Way to cover your tracks there,
I'll take
my
a backhanded compliment. That works too.
Well, I had to do one of them, and I'm basically saying that Matt's easily more, just easier replaced. That's what I was trying to get to.
I actually miss, maybe it's because Ryan's only been gone less than 24 hours now, but I just miss Matt's energy, his presence, That's what I miss.
Are you going to miss Jair Alexander's presence and energy?
100%. Do you know, that's not even something that I said yesterday. I was actually so sad when the news was announced that him and the Packers were parting ways. I wasn't expecting myself to feel that way, but it was just like, wow, we're not gonna have this guy that has just kind of been. Of course, he's been frustrating with not playing in every single game and doing the stupid captain thing a couple of years ago, but he always had that sense of energy. We talked about it yesterday when we were asking our fans, who would you want what celebrity would you want at your wedding? I feel like we briefly mentioned Jair Alexander as the Packer that you would want at your wedding because he just brings a fun, lighthearted energy, and I don't know if there's really anybody else on the Green Bay Packers who has that.
I don't disagree with that. I think they need more people like that, not less. And honestly, that gets us into our signing unlimited poll question. You can chime in again on the Carlos Talking text line 844-770-3776. This is more. Our signing unlimited poll question to start the show: are the Green Bay Packers better today than when last season ended? And you can stream the show on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream and stream us with the ESPN Wisconsin app.
I just have to read Ryan, the psychedelic advisor. His name is Ryan. He said, from a production value standpoint, for sure Riley. From content standpoint, hands down Matt. So he doesn't even remember Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan doesn't even remember Ryan's name.
He misses me even though I'm here today. I'm flattered.
Poor Ryan. Ryan doesn't even get his name remembered by a guy who has the same name as him.
And then I also, 844-770-3776. Carbon Stock text line list is more. Are the Packers better today than when last season ended? It ties into our poll question from yesterday. After releasing Jair Alexander, did Brian Gutekunst fail in upgrading the Packers' defense this offseason? Last I checked, and by I mean Riley checked, 68% of you said he failed. 32% of you say it's a passing grade. So I would imagine logic would tell you similar grades this year.
Yeah, I would think so. Right now, our poll is actually split 50-50 on the one that we just posted. Are the Green Bay Packers better today than they were last season? When last season ended? I just don't know how you could say yes to this. Like, in what ways have they changed this year? Okay, in the offseason so far, they got Banks, offensive line. They got Hobbs as a cornerback. They got rid of Stokes. They got rid of Jair Alexander. You drafted Golden, a wide receiver. You drafted Williams, another wide receiver. You got Belton, offensive line. Like, I think that I feel like going into the draft, the main role that I thought that they needed was going to be cornerback and wide receiver just for funsies, because it'd be awesome to get a Justin Jefferson or a clear-cut number one, which they did not get. We've talked about it time and time again. They got an army of twos, right? So, and they didn't address cornerback, obviously, until the 7th round, which, do you feel confident that a 7th rounder is going to pop off? I mean, we've obviously seen it with Tausch. We've seen it with Donald Driver. There's a couple different players in Packers history that have done it, but how likely is that to happen?
I agree. And then when you look at the other side of it, and we did have someone chime in on ESPN Madison's Twitter to the question, and the answer is nonsensical because, with all due respect to the Mad City amputee, with all the changes to the Lions this offseason, I'd say yes. We didn't ask, are they in better position to win the division? We asked, are they a better team, the Green Bay Packers?
So is he saying that the Lions have made so many changes this offseason in terms of coaches and roster that the Packers are better than them?
I guess that's what he's trying to sell, but that's not the question we asked.
No, but
let's get a little into stock up, stock down with some of these teams. And again, you can chime in. Are the Packers better today than they were when the season ended? 844-770-3776. The Detroit Lions, that's the Carbon Stock and Text line list, is more. According to Pro Football Focus, their biggest strength in 2024 was their offensive line. Now, they lost Frank Ragnow, but they added Tate Ratledge to that offensive line. Their biggest weakness was defensive line depth. And that last game against the Commanders, Daniels went hog wild on the Detroit Lions, but they added DJ Reed. They added Derek Barnes, so a cornerback and a linebacker. They added Marcus Davenport, a defensive end, and Roy Lopez, a defensive tackle. And I think they added a few more players on that D-line. So they've added more bodies there. And then, by the way, Aiden Hutchinson returning. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he doesn't get back to full Aiden Hutchinson, but he's still at like 85% of what he used to be, going to be one of the best defensive linemen in the league. Mm-hmm. So I would say, yes, the loss of the coaches is the wild card, but I think there's only so much you can ding him for it because you got to give Dan Campbell the benefit of the doubt. And I've said this a few times about Aaron Glenn. Their defense was not unstoppable last year. It wasn't some great juggernaut of a defense. Aaron Glenn got a job because Aaron Glenn, and there's multiple reports of this, that he could have been a GM if he wanted to be. He's a leader of men. He's not necessarily a tactician. Case in point, he's not the D coordinator for the Jets. He hired a defensive coordinator. He's not calling plays. Aaron Glenn is a leader of men. So there's a world where the offense might slide a little bit, but they could improve defensively just schematically because their new coach might be more of an X's and O's coach and not quite that head coach material that Aaron Glenn was, because you don't – Brett Bielema was not a great defensive coordinator. He is a far better head coach and defensive coordinator, but he got the job because as defensive coordinator, he got the job with the Badgers, getting his career going, because as defensive coordinator, Barry Alvarez saw this dude's a leader of men. Mm-hmm. And so that's what happened with Aaron Glenn. So defensively, my point being, they might not have a fall off. Offensively, you're going to assume there's a fall off, but Jared Goff's had 3 years in this Ben Johnson offense, and I feel like he's probably picked up good traits to be just better than he was 3 years before.
And who is the Lions offensive coordinator now taking it over for Ben Johnson?
He is from Denver. Most recently, he was in Detroit for a season as well.
Okay.
But in his only season...
Oh, John Morton.
Only season as an offensive coordinator was for the Jets, and that was up and down. Josh McCown had a hell of a season under him, though. That season with the Jets. But, obviously, he had only one season doing it. He got let go, and then he was with the, I believe, Denver Broncos last year.
I do just think that Dan Campbell is such a good head coach that I think he can assemble a team, and I think he knows what the heck he's doing by now. So I don't imagine the Lions dropping off too much. I think a story from the Lions, though, that hasn't been talked about very much is that their center retired. Like, how much pressure does that put on?
One, yep.
Like, that, I just feel like that hasn't really been too much of a conversation piece recently. I mean, I think they knew that it was happening because I believe that they did draft a center in the NFL draft. But, like, I mean, that has to play a crucial role in your offense and just how your quarterback's going to be protected.
So they drafted Tate Ratledge. I honestly feel like he might stay at guard and they'll move Graham Glasnow over to center. But that's not Frank Ragnow. So that is a big loss. But for the Detroit Lions, would you say that their roster was up or down from last year?
I mean, I don't.
Including coaching staff? Or
okay, if you're going to include.
Or if you want to go like.
If you're going to include coaching, then down.
Okay.
But slightly. I don't think it's a massive down.
844-770-3776. That's the Carbos Talking text line. List is more. We are asking you, are the Green Bay Packers better today than when the season ended? Right now, 53% of you say yes. So let's look at the next team here, Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
Minnesota Vikings. Their biggest strength in 2024, pass catchers. And in their biggest weakness was pass protection. X Factor, J.J. McCarthy. Again, this is from Pro Football Focus. And the rookie to watch is Donovan Jackson. They also added Will Freeze on the offensive line. So they did a lot on the offensive line to get better.
Explain to me J.J. McCarthy being their X Factor. Because I feel like you look at what the Lions was, and it was Aiden Hutchinson. Understandable. Okay. Why is that just because that's their biggest question mark then?
I think he's like, for example, like the Lions, if Aiden Hutchinson gets back to what he was, their defensive line depth and other defensive issues and new defense coordinator don't matter.
Okay.
Because he's just a game wrecker. A field tilter, if you will. J.J. McCarthy, if he stinks, they're in trouble. If he's mid, they'll be fine. And if he's good, like, watch out. And so, like, that's why he's an X Factor, at least. Again, Pro Football Focus is why they listed him as the X Factor.
Interesting. I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about J.J. McCarthy. Like, I feel like he was fine in college. He was good.
Yeah, in a run-first offense. I'm not worried about J.J. McCarthy whatsoever as a Packers fan.
But see, I think that's also ignorant, though, because I believe that Kevin O'Connell is a really good head coach. He just won Coach of the Year. Look at what he did with Sam Darnold. Look at what he's done with Kirk Cousins. Like, there is something to be said about a guy who has been able to pull these people that we don't genuinely think of as good quarterbacks to be good quarterbacks. Like, Sam Darnold was better than Jordan Love last year.
I'm not arguing that, but once is a fluke. Twice, then maybe
Twice is what? You're a good head coach?
You're starting to establish a pattern. If he can do it 3 times, 2 good seasons of J.J. McCarthy, then I'll give it to him.
I don't know what to expect of J.J. McCarthy because I feel like also going into last season, prior to his injury, there was a lot of back and forth of who will be our starter. Is it going to be J.J. McCarthy? Is it going to be Sam Darnold? Like, they were very back and forth with it. So I do believe that is slightly concerning. And if I was a Vikings fan, I would be concerned about that. But I am definitely not counting out the Vikings specifically because of their pass catchers. Like, they are elite.
Yeah, I mean, you could see a world where J.J. McCarthy is Sam Darnold-esque. He may not put up the massive numbers, but with an offensive line that did add Will Freeze, or Fries, how you say his name.
It's Freeze, but I don't know.
I believe it's Freeze. Right. And then Ryan Kelly as well, 4-time Pro Bowler to play center. So they've updated the line with both of those positions, let alone they obviously made some draft picks that could have made some upgrades. They brought back Aaron Jones, and then they brought in Isaiah Rodgers. They signed Brian Murphy Jr. They also added on the D-line Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. Now, those players long-term, I don't know what they'll be, but Jonathan Allen was Pro Bowl and All-Pro in 21 and 22. Basically, he was Jair Alexander, but he has not been that same player, but still a heck of a player. So they have increased and improved a lot of areas. And I'm sorry, they kept their coaches, but it's worth noting we're not doing the which roster is better. We're going to do stock up or stock down. We have Detroit with stock down. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light. Minnesota Vikings, O'Connell and Flores as a combo. Offensive coordinator, play caller, and then you have Flores, your defensive. That's elite.
You could argue best in the league.
Yeah.
And Cam as their GM, too. He's a damn good GM. He just got signed to an extension as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doubting the Vikings, but it's going to ride on the back of J.J. McCarthy, and if he sucks, Packers might be in business.
All righty. So,
I'm open for it, too, Riley. Don't get me wrong.
And then the other one here, Minnesota Vikings. So you got them up or down, Molly? I'll give you the choice on it.
I guess I'll say down just because.
I guess you go sideways, too.
No, I think we got to be black or white.
All right, down.
I guess I'll say down just because J.J. McCarthy is so unpredictable.
Carter chimes in on the talk and text line 844-770-3776. Carlos talk and text line list is more. We are the same. We're not used to playing with Jair anyways. Yeah, but Carter, your ceiling has been adjusted, and we went over the stats yesterday. The defense was markedly better when Jair did play. So your ceiling has been lowered without Jair Alexander. Chris Manitus Waters chimes in. Jim, your question is a 50-50 question. They're not better, and they're not worse. But when Alexander plays, they're not better now without him. But when he doesn't play, they're now better without him. Confusing answer for you guys. Enjoy. Same answer I gave Carter. Their ceiling has been lowered. And you're also assuming health. They're thinner than they were last year.
And Nate Hobbs doesn't always stay the healthiest either.
Right.
We've run through those.
And Nate Hobbs is not a world beater.
He's not a Jair.
The league, for whatever it's worth, both the free agent signings of Banks and Hobbs were like, it's an overpay for Banks, but it's a one. They overpaid because of the 1 year deal. So honestly, people it's not a 1 year deal, but they can get out of it after a year. Honestly, the biggest compliment they got for Banks around the league was that the contract is structured nice because you can get out of it. And Hobbs, it's basically. Keyshawn Nixon, let's be honest here. A serviceable corner in the slot.
He was fine last year.
I think Hobbs is their version of Nixon. The Raiders need corners and they let them walk. The Raiders are listed as a team that
the Raiders
Alexander
also took Stokes.
Right, but they decided, they said, we'll take Stokes at that deal.
Stokes?
At that deal than Nate Hobbs.
I hope not.
That's what they've decided.
Is Stokes going to be a starter for the Raiders? I got to look it up.
Jair Alexander might be because that's one of the teams listed. Before we get the break here, let's do quickly the Chicago Bears. Biggest strength, offensive tackle. Biggest weakness, offensive execution. Again, this is from Pro Football Focus. X Factor, Caleb Williams. Rookie to watch, Colston Loveland and Luther Burden. Both are listed there.
I hate to say it, but I feel like the Bears might be the only ones that improved. But is that because they had so much more to improve on? I don't know.
So here they added Drew Dahlman as a starting center. They added Deo Adembo, starting defensive end. Grady Jarrett, they brought him as the D-line. Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson on the offensive line as well.
Let us not forget Ben Johnson.
And I would say Dennis Allen is an increase as defensive coordinator, a long-time, well-respected defensive coordinator in the league. I would say their overall coaching staff, because they brought in Antoine Randall from the Lions as well.
Yep.
They brought in Eric Bieniemy, who was an offensive coordinator at one point in this league. He's a running backs coach. And they brought in a lot of veteran coaches in this league, and none of them were fired. The Saints had a change out, so they brought in Dennis Allen, and they brought in an O-line coach who was with the Saints. So they've been bringing in people who have been around, and even JT Barrett, they stole him from the Lions to be their quarterbacks coach. So this is not a matter of who's got the best roster or who's going to win the division, but Molly, you got the Bears pointing up or down?
I'll say up for them.
They really have nowhere to go but up, to your point, but I do think it's a true up.
But they made moves.
I think it's a true up. Mm-hmm. I think they are definitely a better team because coaching matters. At this point, back to the Vikings, we have to give Kevin O'Connell the benefit of the doubt in close games. It's been too many years now where they win those close games. That's coaching. And all you have to do is look at the Bears under Eberflus. He was league worse in one-score games. And the Bears have been bad the last 3 years under him because they couldn't win those one-score games.
Yep.
Minnesota has been competing for division titles. Heck, I think they would have taken the Packers playoff spot 2 years ago if Kirk Cousins doesn't get hurt. Doesn't blow out his Achilles, because then they had no quarterback.
Yep.
They were in front of them.
Remember that season 3 years ago? I think it was 3 years ago. Yeah, because Kirk Cousins' last season was the Achilles. So the year before that, when every single game, it was coming down to like a last-second drive by the Vikings, and they won.
Yep. Yeah, they were the most fraudulent, 15-1 team
It was
of all
insane.
time.
Yep.
And then they got smoked by Daniel Jones in the playoffs.
So crazy.
But
yeah.
last year they won a fair amount of one-score games too. Their
They
margin
did,
of victory isn't massive.
I think last year, their team was just significantly better.
Didn't they have like a
last year.
negative
True.
point differential last year or something like that? There was something.
But my whole point is that, like, you're right. They are, like, 15 wins wasn't, but they are better than the league average at winning tight football games.
Yeah.
I think we just
100%.
have to assume that now, that with Coach O'Connell, if you're in a tight football game with them, you don't want to be there. That's not the position you want to be in.
I would agree. Kevin O'Connell's a great coach.
All righty. We'll get the break, and we'll get to the Packers on the other side. At Canopy Wealth Management, they are a fee-based advisory firm. They don't chase commissions and never back gimmicks or instruments that chase single-day returns or put your long-term goals at risk. The team at Canopy creates strategies that are tailored for your needs and goals. Canopy Wealth Management, care, competence, and clarity aren't just buzzwords. They're a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started with them today. It's canopy-wealth.com. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
You can take the boy out of North Carolina, but you can't take the North Carolina out of the boy. I like me some Bulldogs up here on the Packers.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit CondonJeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Veterans of Foreign Wars, Wisconsin recently upgraded their document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems. Adam Wallace, VFW State Adjutant.
Our representative ensured that we had what was right for us, for our needs, and for our budget, and I thought it was a very good interaction.
That's a good thing, to have James Imaging Systems as your local business technology partner?
Absolutely. We want people that are going to support what we want to do in supporting veterans, and if that means spending less on our imaging and technology costs, that's more that we can spend on our programs.
And that's a really good thing. Adam, any advice to other businesses out there?
I would say to go with James Imaging.
Because?
Because they are a partner and they give great customer service and the prices are right.
Great document imaging technology, great service, great value. From James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 608-221-3457 or visit jamesimaging.com.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
It's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply on 6/30/2025.
Brian here from Canopy Wealth Management. At Canopy, we create strategies that are tailored to your needs and goals. We've invested heavily in client-friendly software so your assets and plan progress are available to view in one place at any time. Whether you prefer only the high-level information or enjoy the intricate details of the planning process, we've got you covered. Canopy Wealth Management. Care, competence, clarity. It's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
Matt Hamilton here for Leinekugels, the craft beer that showcases a commitment to tradition and quality, founded in 1867 in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. No matter where I'm at, on the ice, on my boat, or if I'm just watching the big game, I always have a Leine's in my hand. Whether it's the refreshing summer shandy, the smooth honey vice, or my personal favorite, the juicy peach, there's a delicious flavor for every moment. Pick it up wherever you get delicious beer, but remember, you gotta be 21 years or older to enjoy.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. Go behind the scenes of the Emmy-nominated Giannis documentary. Get the real story of the blockbuster trade for Damian Lillard. Hear the origin of Bucks in 6. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions, securing homes and businesses in the Madison area since 1987.
Ain't shady, baby, I'm hot, like the prodigal son. Bigger Bartolini, meeny, money, mo, and flower, you're the chosen one.
For Jim, Matt, and Molly as Best of Madison radio team, text BEST OF to 844-770-3776 for your link to vote. We appreciate it. She's Molly Brown. I'm Jim Rutledge. We're in the Everlight Solar Studio. Riley Yauk behind the glass. And Joan Boonies chimes in on our Siding Unlimited poll question. Are the Packers better today than they were last season? Joan Boonies saying that I said the ceiling has been lowered. You have all these ifs and buts on the paper, but it is true that they may not look as good on paper. I don't feel like it's fair to be so down on a team when we haven't gotten to training camp. Bringing on a guy 1 year isn't a bad idea, especially if Hafley finds a scheme fit for him. I think maybe there's confusion there. Nate Hobbs is more than a 1 year deal, but the Banks was an offensive lineman that they basically decided, like, hey, they paid him a lot up front, and they can get out of the deal in a year. That's not the end of the world, but I'm saying my understanding for roster building, you talk to people around the league and just in general, we'll talk to Jason Wilde about it, if you're not actively going forward, you're going backwards. And I think Matthew Golden is a fine pick, and I think in the long run, I think he's going to be a productive receiver. I think he's going to be a good player. I don't think he's going to be the next Amon St. Brown or something like that, but I do think he's going to be a good player. Mm-hmm. If he turns out to be the next Jayden Reed, and you got two versions of, you got Reed and Golden running out there making plays as fast receivers and gadgety players, like, that's great. Like, that's a
Feel
good
win.
About
it. Yeah.
But he's not. He was added at a position you didn't need. Mm-hmm. It was not a desperate need at wide receiver. Then you added another one in the third round, and then you all added a offensive lineman in the second round. So long term, those picks could help, and it helps some depth. But the frontline talent for the Packers, their top 3 picks don't add to that. And then they added Nate Hobbs and Aaron Banks. Neither one of those are werewolves or field tilters, if you will.
Yep.
Look what happened when they added a field tilter last year. Now their schedule was easier, but they added 2 wins. It's Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs. They added 2 field tilters.
For sure.
And that's the thing. Last year's Packers team, roster-wise and on the field, was definitively better
than the year before.
And they went the same distance.
Mm-hmm.
The same. We felt like that going into it.
Yeah.
That is not the case right now. So let's look a little bit at the Green Bay Packers. Well, actually, we don't have to really go deep into it because I want to get to Jason Wilde. So here's Pro Football Focus. Biggest strength, 2024, pass protection. Biggest weakness, defensive line. X Factor, Lucas Van Ness. And rookie to watch, Matthew Golden. Molly, I'll let you chime in on that. And then... I just hate. Are they up or down?
I hate that the X Factor is Lucas Van Ness. Like, what are we doing here? I mean, what is this guy?
Well, it's the X Factor because their weakness was D-line.
No, 100%. Like, I understand why he's the X Factor. Like, we've gone through with the other teams, too. Yeah. I get it. It's just, like,
let's go.
I just hate that he could be the person that we're relying on to potentially affect this team in a big way, because he's not going to. Like, we've talked about it time and time again. He wasn't a starter at the University of Iowa. He's not good. He got picked 13th overall a couple years ago. Like, he's not good. And I don't know what we're going to hold out hope for. I just think the biggest concern, I mean, we talked about it heading into the draft too. Like, I feel like, Jim, you had very strong opinions that the Packers need to add a pass rush. They didn't.
And they also
didn't do anything.
They knew they were losing a corner, and they didn't add a corner either.
Yes, exactly. That is the thing, too. Is like, you knew what your roster was going to look like post-draft, because you knew you were going to get rid of Jair. And you knew he wasn't going to take the low ball money that you freaking threw at him, you know?
You didn't have to add one in round 1. You could have added one instead of the offensive lineman. You could have added one instead of Savion Williams. Savion Williams is a luxury pick.
Yes.
And it's okay to kill the Packers for it. It might turn out to be fine. But, like, you still had, like... the Green Bay Packers are different than, let's say, in the division, the Green Bay Packers, Minnesota, and Lions are all peers. Chicago, you have to wait and see what's going to happen there. But the Packers are a team that should be competing to win this year, which means their picks should be made, obviously, with an eye towards the future, but you have less room for error with a luxury pick.
Right.
And that's what the concern is for someone like Savion Williams. We'll talk to Jason Wilde about that next.
You're listening live from St. John's, Newfoundland. The Newfies love Jim, Matt, and Molly. 100.5 ESPN Madison.
Hey, Matt Hamilton here to tell you about the delicious Odyssey Brands, a family-owned company crafting award-winning cheese right here in Wisconsin for over 4 generations. Made with locally sourced milk, Odyssey brings bold, Greek-style flavors straight to your table. From savory, crumbly feta to rich and creamy Greek yogurt, every bite is a taste of tradition and quality. You can find Odyssey products at most major retailers nationwide and online. Odyssey, crafted in Wisconsin, loved everywhere, dairy done right.
Cheesy Bites Pizza is back at Pizza Hut. For only $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. Plus, it comes with Pizza Hut's very own Ranch Lovers Flight, featuring 3 bold dips: Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Ready to dip into deliciousness? Well, hurry. It's only available for a limited time. Head to a Pizza Hut location or order online at pizzahut.com today. Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Want to join the fastest growing home solar company in the nation and work in the fastest growing industry in the world? Everlight Solar has open positions in the Madison area and in their newly open Milwaukee location. As Wisconsin's largest home solar company, Everlight Solar offers great opportunities to gain new skills and advance your career. Don't miss the chance to join the Everlight Solar team. Visit everlightsolar.com to apply today. Save money, save the planet, and start with Everlight Solar.
This update sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you.
Brewers Baseball Academy, presented by Fleet Farm, returns to cities this summer for its 13th year. Kids ages 6 to 14 are invited for a week of instruction and fun, plus a VIP day at American Family Field. Space is limited. Don't miss out. Visit brewers.com/camps for details.
Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org. Insured by NCUA.
You remember the moments from that magical March.
Outside Decker. It's a 3. Got it! Dagger!
On June 26th at the Orpheum Theater, relive the excitement with the squad that made him believe. A special night with Bo Ryan, Frank Kaminsky, and Sam Decker.
Here's Kaminsky. The drop stab. That's his favorite. And the 2.
Made him believe. Supported by Canopy Wealth Management, Celebrations Entertainment, and Feli's Flowers. Get your tickets today at uwhoops2015.com.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Jason, quick
You
question.
are one of one.
3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year.
Thank you for helping me prove my point, Molly.
You're
Because
welcome.
my point. Well, is this Matt Hamilton?
Am I not allowed to know the word filibustering?
I just didn't see that coming, that's all.
Well, good, I want to keep you on your toes.
Jason Wilde is on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Oh, snap! What's up with that? 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 What's up with that?
That is the theme music of the one and only Jason Wilde. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. No Matt Hamilton. He's out fishing and drinking Coors Light. Riley Yauk behind the glass because Ryan Primetime Wollersheim is in Chicago. And Molly Brown is here with me in the Everlight Solar Studio. You can see us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. You can stream us with the ESPN Wisconsin app. And Jason, the main question we're asking everyone today is, who do you miss more, Matt Hamilton or Primetime Wollersheim?
Wow, that's a tough call. I miss them both equally like I would my children.
There you go.
Sure.
Matt's more of a child than Ryan. We can all agree on that.
He's got that childish appearance, though. Wooly does.
Well, because he is a child in age. With all due respect, like Riley's even younger, but goodness, they are youngsters.
Spring chickens, you could say.
Sure. Yes, that is true. Jason, Packers are obviously getting things rolling today, and I want to get into what's happening with Bo Melton and all of that because nothing screams roster stability of like let's just throw stuff against the wall and see who can play what position. That always makes me comfortable. But I want to get to the Packers losing Jair. I feel like it lowered their ceiling because statistically across the board they were better when Jair played than when he didn't last year. And then when I look at this roster, they didn't. And there's a locker room factor to it as well. They didn't add a lot. Now, to be fair, we did a game before, and we think that Detroit and Minnesota both probably would say that their roster trending down from the year before. But I'll ask you, are the Packers, are they noticeably better than they were at the end of last season? Like, on the roster?
No, right? I mean, let's see. They've added Matthew Golden. Obviously, they're excited about him. They are well, it depends on how you look at Jair, right? If you look at the Jair that played early in the season and had a pick six in Tennessee and was playing well, I don't think Nate Hobbs is better than that alternative. Their offensive line is probably better, assuming that they take care of Elton Jenkins, because him at center and Aaron Banks at guard is probably better than Josh Myers at center and Elton Jenkins at left guard. But I don't think that that's their. I don't think they've done anything to indicate that they're a better team. I think they are relying on existing players becoming better players that were on the team last year and playing at a higher level than they did last year, right? Whether that's the wide receivers or Luke Musgrave augmenting what Tucker Kraft does, or the defense. I mean, you can't look at the defense and say they're better. They were pretty damn good last year. Mm-hmm. So no, I don't think they've done anything where you say, okay, they are better than they were a year ago because of this, this, and this. I think it's more, and I'm not saying that that's a criticism either, because I think it also points to kind of the reality of, hey, this approach, the idea behind it is we've got guys that are third-year and fourth-year players. We are counting on them now to emerge as not the players that play well in flashes like we've seen from Wicks and Reed and Dobbs and all these guys that are third or fourth-year guys. Now we're relying on them, if we're the Packers, to have them play at that type of a level far more often.
So the way that I hear that is Goody decided that all his picks were great, so they added the new defensive line coach instead of addressing the defensive line. And they didn't need to add anyone from the outside because all his picks are great and they're just going to naturally progress. Because the reason why I asked is they got 2 wins better, but they went to the exact same spot in the playoffs, and and they actually didn't go as far last year in the actual playoffs, but their position was the same. And they definitely noticeably got field tilters added, and we were aware that they were field tilters. There weren't surprises that McKinney and Josh Jacobs were field tilters. So, my question is, you're a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl, and last year you added 2 field tilters, and this year you're like, we're just going to be like a team like will just get better internally, and that doesn't scream when I look at other teams competing for the Super Bowl what Super Bowl contending teams do.
That's fair, but at the same time, you're not necessarily going to have field tilters every offseason, right? And so, yeah, they got a stud running back and a first-team All-Pro safety. That's acknowledging that they whiffed on A.J. Dillon and whiffed on Darnell Savage. They had to replace those two players who were disappointing draft picks, just like signing Aaron Banks is replacing Josh Myers, who, if you had gotten that second-round pick right, you would have signed him to an extension.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And adding Nate Hobbs is replacing the failure of the second contract that you gave to Jair Alexander, who only got halfway through it. And that Goody basically talked about him today as if they were never going to take a pay cut, and the Packers were never going to keep him if he didn't take a pay cut. So all this kind of nonsense over the last several months to end up exactly where they were going to be all along is incredible to me. And if there's a criticism to be had here, it's that you knew in your heart of hearts that you were not going to keep Jair Alexander. It was a matter of when, not if, you were going to move on from him. And yet Nate Hobbs, in a free agency class, and look, maybe they didn't like the guy from, what was it? There was the guy from the Lions who went.
So DJ Reed went to the Lions.
Guy went to the Lions.
Yeah.
Right, and then they lost their guy. I don't know if he went to New England. They lost one of their top corners in free agency. They replaced him with the Jets guy. But my point is that maybe they didn't really like any of the free agent corners, and other than Hobbs, who was obviously not a very high-profile guy. I mean, he was basically a nickel guy, started 11 games last year. But they don't – this is it's harsh the way you said it, Jim, of all my draft picks are great, so we don't need to add anybody. But it's kind of true. I mean, if he's not saying all my draft picks are great, and we tweak that phrase and say, I think all my draft picks are going to be great this year, then maybe we've got a pretty good picture of why they've taken the approach that they have. And again, I think we have to be honest that could work.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it really could. Like, it doesn't, you don't have to have made, seismic shifts, but I would argue that their view of their corners, because we talked to Goody during practice today, his view is a lot more optimistic than mine. And I want to be clear, I am a Keyshawn Nixon believer. I am a Carrington Valentine believer. I do not know enough about Nate Hobbs at this point to be able to speak intelligently about how good he may or may not be. But when Goody was asked today about his comfort level with the corners that are still on the team, I feel really good. Obviously, the three guys combined have about 95 starts under their belt. So he's talking about Nixon, Hobbs, and Valentine. And I am saying, as someone who thinks Keyshawn Nixon is a really, really impressive story of a guy who came here on a bargain basement 1-year vet minimum deal from Las Vegas, in large part because Rich Bisaccia wanted him for his special teams units. And he went from a cover guy on special teams to an all-pro kick returner to a slot corner nickel guy to an outside corner starter, and now they want him to make the jump to CB1, basically. That's a hell of a story. Could it possibly be that they're asking him to go one level higher than he's capable of? Maybe. Hobbs, he hasn't exactly been the picture of health, but certainly more on the field more than Jair was. And then, CV is a seventh-round pick who I have said could, not will, but could be one of those seventh-round picks that we look back on years later, like Tausch, like Donald Driver, like Adam Timmerman, and go, wow, I still can't believe that guy was a 7th-round pick. Look what he's done with his career. So, again, that's great that he has so much optimism. He's way more optimistic than me, and I actually like 2 of the 3 guys he's talking about.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We're presented by Coors Light, and we are talking with Jason Wilde. You can hear him weekdays from 9 to noon across ESPN Wisconsin on Wilde and Tausch. Jason, the Packers are taking on Jair's full dead cap this year instead of spreading it out over time, which is a little over $17 million. I'm curious, how does this affect the cap this year? And then also, what the heck does their cap look like next year?
Yeah, even better, right? I mean, look, they've got... depending upon what their thought process is on who they're willing to sign to extensions and who they authentically want to keep. I mean, obviously that's, and look, there's a bunch of guys in prove-it years, right? I mean, Quay Walker, Devontae Wyatt got the 5th-year option, but the 3 offensive linemen that are all free agents, and Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson at wide receiver. Like, they got a bunch of guys that could either fall flat on their faces and none of them get re-signed, or they all ball out and suddenly now you're trying to figure out who you can keep. They have on their roster from the 2022 draft, and the only player on this list who has been extended in any way is the 5th-year option for 2026 that they gave to Devontae Wyatt. Quay Walker, Devontae Wyatt, Christian Watson, Sean Ryan, Romeo Doubs, Zach Tom, Kingsley Enagbare, Rasheed Walker. That is 8 players, 7 of whom are in the final year of their deals, including Quay Walker, who did not get the 5th-year option. Now, that's also on the heels of a 2021 draft that the only player that's left is Isaiah McDuffie, and a 2020 draft that the only player that's left is Jordan Love. But the bottom line is that having those kind of resources in terms of cap space allows you, if you so choose, to sign these guys to extensions. And then he's got a 23 class that is Van Ness, Musgrave, Reed, Kraft, Colby Wooden, Sean Clifford, Dontavion Wicks, Carl Brooks, Carrington Valentine. So I think he basically said it that they're not looking to go spend that money. So they do take on the whole cap hit for this year. Goody alluded to that. So they basically, even though he's a post-June 1 cut, they're treating Jair Alexander like a pre-June 1 cut and had to get clearance from the league because they have $46 million of cap space right now to eat all of it for this year. So, that's what they're choosing to do. They want to have flexibility. Goody was very adamant about that. I think he was very frustrated during the final years of the Rodgers era that he couldn't do anything because they kept bringing back veteran players, and he was hamstrung by that. But the bottom line is, going back to what we were just saying, if this is how you're going to do business and you're going to let that much cap money either be put toward Jair's contract when you don't necessarily have to do it, and you're not going to spend it on an outside player at this point in June, you're dancing with the dudes that have brung you. And you better hope they're good enough, and you better hope that some of those guys make pretty significant leaps to get you to where you want to go, including the quarterback.
Now, I know that there was reports of the Packers trying to do a deal with the Buffalo Bills for Jair earlier this year. And obviously there's other teams that he's rumored to potentially be going to. But do you think that he maybe already has a team figured out that he's going to by the time that this news broke yesterday?
I would think his agent had talked to teams to get a gauge on who would have interest when he'd be released. They had to all know. I mean, this was actually decided on Sunday, so I would assume that it started to come out yesterday because all the NFL insider types were hearing that John Thornton was calling around different teams to gauge interest, and someone let the Ian Rappaports and Diana Rossini's and Adam Schefters of the world in on that. That said, I asked Goody today, you don't have any control over where he goes now. Mm-hmm. I mean, at least if you could have traded him. And look, that he was never going to get traded. That's what's crazy about this. Like, judging from what Goody said, they were very adamant in his camp that we are not going to take less money. We're not going to take a pay cut, which might turn out to be stubborn and foolish. I don't know what kind of money, he's going to end up ultimately getting from whoever signs him, given his injury track record. But Gutekunst was basically like, we would have just had to keep him at $17 million. And they've tried that the last couple of years, and it wasn't worth the risk. So for him, this was, I just don't understand, what was he waiting for? Because if he had made the Buffalo offer, it didn't matter, because they were not going to take on him at $17 million either, and neither were the other 30 teams in the league. So this, for all the grief that those of us that cover the team have taken for, oh, you guys just want to get rid of him, or you just want to be right. Obviously Domowski took a lot of heat for how he reported it initially, but ultimately that's exactly what happened. And there were some misleading things from Peter Schrager about, oh, he had dinner with LaFleur, and we're in a great place with Jair. And what you've been hearing in the media isn't accurate. Peter, I can send you my home address if you want to send me an apology note. And there were other reports too. Like Goody wouldn't even acknowledge that there was, and based on how he answered it when I asked him, he wouldn't even acknowledge that there was an existing offer on the table. There were conversations. So the report from The Athletic that there was an offer on the table, based on what Goody said, they never actually made an offer, because he had made it very clear, John Thornton, his agent, and Jair, that they weren't going to come and play on a reduced deal. Which then, what the hell have we been waiting for? Because that seems to me like it ruins your chances of keeping him, and it ruins your chances of trading him. So just cut him and be done with him.
Well, now they have Bo Melton. So what?
Hey man, don't. I'm not gonna let you do that.
Okay.
Bo is one of my favorite guys. And in fairness to you, you big jerk. Usually when this happens, it is the death knell for your career, undeniably. But I think that, and I'm not saying he's Travis Hunter or Bo Jackson instead of Bo
he really is your guy. Wow.
But, look, he's been productive as a receiver. He is one of the few core special teams players that they still have. They were basically watching him on special teams. They know they're down on the corner with numbers. They've got Kalen King, who's got a broken arm. And had they just moved him to corner, I would say, yeah, he's screwed. But, and I've never seen this happen in 30 years. He played with the number one offense and the number one defense in the same 11-on-11 period. Like, my guy is Charles Woodson. He did it at Michigan. Travis Hunter, obviously, is getting a lot of attention in Jacksonville. But I had never seen in all my time a guy play offense with the number one offense and defense with the number one offense, with the number one defense in the exact same 11-on-11 period. And today, Bo Melton did that.
Which one
and
did?
Am I saying he's
Go ahead.
Am I saying he's going to be the number one wide receiver and number one corner? No, I am not. But I think he's going to be on this team, and I think this is more than just we're going to try this guy at another position before we cut him. I really do.
Which one did he look better at, cornerback or wide receiver?
Well, we didn't get to talk to Bo. He is a wide receiver by trade. Now, his brother is a corner, I think, with Arizona.
Yep.
And so, and they got he covered Bo in their game against Arizona last season. They play again this year.
Yep.
But he looks like he has a lot to learn at corner. But I wouldn't. I'm not betting against him, man. Like he is. And I'll say this, I've told you guys before that when we were talking last week about Mercedes Lewis's comments to Kay Adams, that the assistant coaches got LaFleur a Mercedes Lewis jersey because he talked about him so much because he was his man crush. Bo Melton might be closing in on Mercedes Lewis.
Wow.
Like he said, LaFleur told us today that he showed the team video clips of Bo as like an example of effort and like, so I love everything about him was the quote today. so, again, I don't know if Goody loves everything about him because he makes the decisions on the roster. But I think this is more than just kind of a goofy, silly thing to be doing in the offseason.
Yeah, and it wasn't a shot at Bo Melton. It's more of a shot at the roster building for the team. But last
Be
thing,
nice to my guy.
A professional receiver.
Bo Melton. So with the last thing I got for you, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he revealed he was married today. Whined about the helmet. Apparently, the helmet he wore all the time he can't wear anymore. Kind of implied some sort of conspiracy. Talked about that he's been.
What? I didn't see this.
He's like, for some reason, I can't wear my helmet anymore, so I got to pick a new one. So, any of those little things from Aaron, you got 2 cents on as far as him?
I'll be honest,
with the
Jim,
Steelers. Yeah,
I heard none of it, and I didn't make the effort to hear any of it. And I think I'm feeling pretty good about this.
Are you surprised he's married?
No, I mean, I saw the ring.
I mean,
I saw the
nobody
ring.
put it past. Like, Aaron could have said, I married my observer. I live in my id. Observer and id is like a big thing in the Enigma thing, where it's like you have an unconscious observer in your mind, which is not just Aaron Rodgers' thing, where like everything you do is just observed with no judgment. And you'll be your absolute happiest when your id and your observer are more in line. That you shouldn't be judging yourself, and so you want to be more with the observer.
I don't know. I'm lost.
But that's Aaron.
All I'm going to say is I love Broadway musicals. One of my favorites is Avenue Q, and there's a song in there called "I Wish You Could Meet My Girlfriend." My girlfriend who lives in Canada. It's like this guy's like the Bert of Bert and Ernie, and the implication is that he's gay, and so he makes up this imaginary girlfriend who lives in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Alberta. She lives in Vancouver or something like that. It's a little bit of a tawdry show, but it's a great show with Muppet lookalike creatures. And I did have the thought at first, when he was wearing the ring at the Kentucky Derby, that maybe it was an imaginary girlfriend who lived in Canada. But clearly not, because he would never lie. He always tells the truth.
It's Brittany with an I. That's all we know from the Pat McAfee show. So there.
Well, I mean, my favorite story about him. I mean, I've got a lot of them, but I was shopping at Best Buy. He wasn't a starter yet, so it must have been 2006 maybe. But he and I had talked a bunch, and I'm at the kiosk looking up. I assume a DVD or a CD, because we didn't have everything digitally then.
Jason, I know it wasn't that long ago, but it sounds like 100 years ago. But I know, but I've been there.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it? So I'm at the kiosk, and this voice behind me says, "Excuse me, sir, do you need any help?" And I turn, and it's him. And he's, busting my balls. And then he's like, "Hey, I want you to meet my girlfriend, Destiny." And it's one of those where I like started to laugh. Like I thought, like, okay, now he's pulling my leg. Her name's not Destiny, right? Like, and no, her name was Destiny. And so Brittany would be on brand.
Well, there we go. All right, Jason, we'll leave it on that.
What things with a little? You think she dots the I with a heart?
Yeah, it's
For
one eye.
sure.
It was Brittany with one eye. We know that. So yeah, I think that's definitely a dot with.
I think there's 2 eyes.
But he said
But
it
one
like,
eye at
Well,
the
but not
end.
right together.
Yes.
And that's what he means.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's not usually how people use the phrase, Molly. Brittany. That how many vowels are in your name? No. All right. Thank you, Jason.
What's up with that?
We've gone off the rails.
Absolutely.
Everybody, take care. Be good.
That's Jason Wilde. Make sure to go out to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. Say hi to Lee. Say hi to Kevin over there. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, best happy hour in town. The Sizzle, Swizzle, and Swirl happy hour. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
But I've never seen the movie either.
I've only seen the
Really?
Yeah, I had no interest in the movie.
Oh my gosh, the movie is terrible. It's terribly awesome. Did you just
movie?
touch my butt, Dewey? I know your tricks, Dewey. What? I quote that all the time.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Starion Bank with 3 Madison area locations in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona. Starion Bank is here investing in your community. Start your experience at starionbank.com. Member FDIC. Luke Fickell's 3rd year with Wisconsin, a big one. The air raid attempt failing the first 2 seasons. ESPN's Adam Rittenberg cautiously optimistic for new OC Jeff Grimes to adopt Bucky's traditional ways. More during his appearance on ESPN Madison's The Jump Around.
It's one of the more beautiful things to watch as a fan because you can just physically dominate an opponent. Wisconsin's done that, and there's really nothing that the defenses can do about it. And I think that's what you want to see is a team that can run the ball and be in favorable down and distance and score the ball in the red zone and really kind of take the will of their opponent.
What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Pella has a product line for every budget.
No interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
This Father's Day, help Dad be all he can be with a gift from the Home Depot, because he's not just Dad, he's the handyman of the house, the plumber in a pinch, and the emergency mechanic. Upgrade his gear this Father's Day with the Husky Mechanics 270-piece tool set from the Home Depot. Now on special buy for $119, a $695 value. For every kind of dad, find the perfect gift this Father's Day at the Home Depot.
Teams are battling for the championship, and there's no better place to get in on the intensity than ESPN Bet. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Metro Ford of Madison is Madison's trusted Ford dealership. Whether you're in the market for a new or new-to-you vehicle, Metro Ford of Madison has the customer service that's second to none. Metro Ford is also the home of the 2 years no-charge maintenance offer on new vehicle purchases, making it the place to go for the new Ford of your dreams. Browse their inventory, schedule a service, or see this month's offers at MetroFordOfMadison.com. That's MetroFordOfMadison.com.
Summer is here, and there's no better way to celebrate than with Door County Distillery. Hey, it's Alex Stroh. I've been telling you for years how great Door County Distillery is. Locally produced, handcrafted, and award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. The sun is shining, and so can the Rock Island Rum from Door County Distillery in your summertime cocktail. Otherwise, vodkas, gins, whiskeys, brandies, and more, it's all available from the award-winning Door County Distillery. Find a huge list of unique cocktail recipes and the retailer nearest you, DoorCountyDistillery.com. That's DoorCountyDistillery.com.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
This fall, build your perfect Wisconsin football game day with a mini pack. Pick any 3 games, including Big Ten matchups like Washington, Iowa, and Ohio State, and save while cheering on the Badgers. Big matchups, big moments, and it's all on your schedule. Football mini packs are available now. Create your custom game day experience today at uwbadgers.com or call 1-800-GO-BADGERS. First touchdown to the 5th quarter. There's always something to enjoy. Football game day starts here. We'll see you at Camp Randall.
We ask and you answer. Tune in to Jim, Matt, and Molly every weekday 4 to 6 and follow at Jim, Matt, Molly on X to vote in daily poll questions presented by Siding Unlimited, your local window installation pros. Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light, a finalist for Best of Madison Radio Team in 2025. Vote for us every day this month at MadisonMagazine.com.
Continues live from the Everlight Solar Studio. We are presented by Coors Light. She's Molly Brown. I'm Jim Rutledge. We got Riley Yelk behind the glass. We have a Siding Unlimited poll question that you can chime in on. 844-770-3776. That's the Carlos Talking text line. The Siding Unlimited poll question is, are the Green Bay Packers better today than they were last season? 63% of you say yes. And before we get a break here, I want to tell you about my good friends at J&K Security Solutions. Go see Jeff over at J&K Security Solutions. They are a family-owned, a veteran-owned business, locally owned business. They will help protect your home and business. They will also help you with control for your home. I want to throw out this question as we go to break. We can throw this one up at Jim, Matt, and Molly. A secondary side eliminated poll question. Aaron Rodgers, married to a mystery woman. So we want to ask you the question, where did Aaron Rodgers meet his spouse? Wrong answers only. 844-770-3776. Where did Aaron Rodgers meet his spouse? Wrong answers only. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Monte Ball.
Monte steps to the right, dashes, reaches, touchdown.
You listen to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good evening, Madison and streamers everywhere. My name is Riley Yauk, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by Ridgetop Exteriors, Wisconsin's premier roofing, siding, and window contractor since 2002. Visit them at ridgetopexteriors.com. Big news for the Brew Crew today as ESPN's Jeff Passan reported at 12:30 this afternoon. Milwaukee will be calling up Jacob Misiorowski, one of the best pitching prospects in baseball. He ranks 30th among all prospects, according to ESPN, and his fastball has touched 103 miles per hour all the way through the 6th inning at times this season. He's expected to make his first start this coming Thursday against the St. Louis Cardinals. As far as today's game goes, the Brewers will be looking to even up the series with the Atlanta Braves, who snapped their own 7-game losing streak last night. With Quinn Priester on the hill, he's getting the start after being a bulk man behind a lefty opener in his past 2 appearances. His first pitch is scheduled for 6:40 with pregame coverage beginning right after Jim, Matt, and Molly at 6:05 on Madison's new home of the Brewers, 100.5 ESPN.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's gonna swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow. Oh.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
We're learning a lot about each other.
We got Homer, Matt Hamilton.
Yeah.
We have
Pessimist Molly.
No. Realist.
and then Contrarian.
Total. Yeah.
Jim Rutledge here.
It's Murr.
I'm the problem. It's
Mister.
Could it be possible you guys are the best show in ESPN Wisconsin, the whole state?
Yeah, obviously. It's
possible. Anything's possible.
You're the best.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Alongside Matt Hamilton and Molly Brown, here's Jim Rutledge.
It is hour number 2 of Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light. The Mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light.
I'm Jim Rutledge. I have the power. Riley Yauk behind the glass in the Everlight Solar Studio. Primetime Morrisheim in Chicago. Matt out fishing. Molly Brown with me. And you can get into the show, 844-770-3776 on the Carlos Talking text line. List is more. We have 2 questions up. A side limited poll question. Are the Packers better today than when the season ended? Over 60% of you say yes. And then we threw this one out on our way out of hour number 1. I want to circle back to it. Aaron Rodgers revealed to the world that he is married. So we want to know, wrong answers only, where did Aaron Rodgers meet his spouse. Robin Madison chimes in with maybe he married his brain. And then the 818 chimes in with the astral plane, which, Molly, you looked that up. What is that?
The astral plane is a concept in esoteric and spiritual traditions, often described as a non-physical realm where thoughts, emotions, and energies are dominant.
I like that answer. That is neat. Bring up with Jason Wilding. You can listen back with that in the ESPN Wisconsin app. You also can stream us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. The idea of ego versus the observer. And so I joked that maybe he just married the observer in his mind. Ego definition: the ego is the part of the self that interacts with the external world, experiences emotions, and makes decisions, and is often associated with the I or sense of self. Observer is detached, mindful perspective from which one can watch thoughts, emotions, and experiences without identifying with them. So have either one of you tried any meditation things?
I fall asleep when I try to meditate.
But like a lot of the stuff behind meditation is more of like you're trying to take a step back and see your emotions and don't react to them. And don't so if something is bothering you or something makes you upset, to see it kind of come through your mind, but to let it go and not chase it or let it distract you or stress you out. And that's the kind of idea behind meditation, because then if you are willing to, if you can create the ability to not be controlled by your emotions, then it creates a better sense of self.
I believe in meditation. I understand meditation. However, I am not at a point in my life that I can shut my brain off and get myself to think like that. And I wish I could, but I can't. I'm not mentally strong enough.
Hey, no,
I mean, if I'm being honest.
Everyone would struggle, and I know you know what. I'm just kind of putting it out there for the listeners as far as kind of what it is.
Yeah.
So like I said, I watched the Enigma doc with Aaron Rodgers, and I find some of it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think it can have Aaron is basically in that trying to figure out a way to just be happier with himself and happier just as a person and not be defined just by football. And he goes through all that, and obviously it's the arrogance and the rest of it, and where you're like, all right, you could have just done this without telling us you're better than the rest of us.
Yeah, it seems like he goes the extra mile every time to try and figure out these issues. I've never meditated, quote unquote, never do that. I pray quite a bit.
But that's similar.
It's a level.
Yes.
Because praying connects you with something that is
greater than yourself.
Exactly.
I understand what he's trying to do.
Yes.
I don't do it in the same way that he does.
Yeah, right. So at least do something similar, though. You are trying to view yourself as more that you are part of a larger thing, and you don't have to you're not the one judging yourself. In this case, it would be a higher being that allows you to fail and succeed, and they'll observe you, and you just have to be kind of the best you can be.
Yeah, I guess I have to watch Enigma to get the full gamut of Aaron Rodgers' worldview and all that, but
yeah.
JR in the car says darkness retreat while smoking that eye stuff. Not even going to try and spell it. He is referring to ayahuasca.
We need the old Chris Orr drop of saying ayahuasca and laughing. I don't know if that's still...
Chris Orr had an ayahuasca drop?
Yeah.
What? How did he say it?
It's a 15-second drop. Let's play it.
Ayahuasca.
Never mind. It's only 2 seconds.
That's not Chris Orr?
Ayahuasca.
Yeah.
No, it's not, is it?
Yeah.
What? That is not him.
Ayahuasca.
I thought that was somebody on a Joe Rogan podcast.
No, that's Chris Orr.
No way.
Yeah. You're
Play
making
it
me
again.
question it.
Ayahuasca.
That does not sound like him.
That's his laugh. That is 100% his laugh.
I mean, I hear the laugh.
Ayahuasca.
His voice is edited or something. I swear to God.
It does sound kind of like Quagmire from Family Guy.
Ayahuasca.
I mean, I think it's a pretty clip, but that could be part of it where it's,
That is crazy. Ryan plays that every single day, and I have never known that was Chris Orr. Wild.
Well, the more you know. We are going to play For Real or Phony on the other side. But at Carbon World Health, they specialize in comprehensive hormone replacement therapy, including testosterone replacement therapy. They understand that every body is different. Starting with a diagnostic exam, including blood tests to assess your hormone levels, They will then create a treatment regimen that works for you, restoring your hormone levels to optimal ranges, not just normal for your age range. Call Carbon World Health today at 608-709-8089 or visit them at carbonworldhealth.com in Madison and now Sun Prairie. Carbon World Health. Reclaim your health. Reclaim your life. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I came in and I gave myself a buzz cut. It actually looks more shaved in the horrible lighting in the Everlight Solar Studio.
Turn the lighting down.
Normal. Like, this is wild. Like, I'm
And
there.
for me, remember the
like,
camera also adds 10 pounds. It takes
Right.
hair away from Jim and it adds 10 pounds to me.
Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Veterans of Foreign Wars Wisconsin has document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. VFW State Adjutant Adam Wallace.
Local is always important because we want to engage with our community and support local businesses. You know, we are local to Madison and they are too.
James Imaging Systems, a 100% locally owned and managed Wisconsin business technology company. The benefit?
The benefit is having reliable equipment, having a reliable way to print documents.
James Imaging Systems, local service you just can't get anywhere else.
The customer service is great, and if an issue, when it rarely arises, they're very quick to fix it.
That's another benefit for the VFW.
It's just one less thing that we need to worry about as an organization.
James Imaging Systems, AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, and digital transformation. Call 608-221-3457 or visit jamesimaging.com.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Need new tires? For a limited time at Zimbrick Honda, you can buy 3 tires and get the 4th for only $1. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Gear up for Quick Trip's Mountain Dew Quick Climb. Now through August 17th. Play free daily in the Quick Rewards app and earn bonus plays with every eligible purchase. Grab one with hot food. That's 2 bonus plays. Each week, the cash prize climbs by $5,000, all the way to a $250,000 grand prize. So open the app and get climbing. Your summer, your climb, your win. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents residing in Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan, South Dakota, North Dakota, or Wisconsin. Ends August 17th. Bonus plays require qualifying purchase. See full rules at quicktrip.com/sweepstakes.
It's a home run! But wait, is your roof ready for the big league storms? If your roof has more holes than a catcher's mitt, it's time to bring in the pros. At Avondale Roofing, we've been handling leaks, repairs, and full replacements with major league precision for over 30 years. And as a GAF Master Elite certified contractor, we bring top-tier quality and proven performance to every job. Whether it's a quick patch-up or full upgrade, our team steps up to the plate and knocks it out of the park every time. You're out! Don't wait till water's in your dugout. Call Avondale Roofing today and keep your home in the win column.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Bruss talking about our friends at Road America, located conveniently between Green Bay and Milwaukee and Elkhart Lake. Come see a race at the legendary 4-mile, 14-turn road circuit that has hosted some of the best races since 1955. Camp on site all weekend and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult at the gate. Their concession stand makes you feel like you're at the state fair with something for everyone. Spring Vintage Weekend with the SVRA is up next on May 16th through the 18th. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck and Honey's. Congratulations to the perennial Best of Madison Award winner by the folks at Madison Magazine. Meet me at Buck and Honey's to celebrate Wisconsin hospitality. Whether you're enjoying the view on the Yahara River in Monona, exploring Wanakee, visiting the OG in Sun Prairie, or checking out the new location in Mount Horeb, you can enjoy the Buck and Honey's experience in a neighborhood near you. Serving lunch and dinner 7 days a week with brunch every Saturday and Sunday. I'll see you at Buck and Honey's.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
Jim, Matt, and Molly continues live from the Everlight Solar Studio. I'm Jim Rutledge alongside Molly Brown. We got Riley Yauk behind the glass. We are presented by Coors Light. We had Peter and Fitch Vegas chime in. The Enigma, Sure Married, and then just listed off a bunch of internet stars. So that is a question we have out there. I cited them in a poll question. Wrong answers only. Where did Aaron Rodgers meet his spouse? And we are also asking you, are the Packers, is their roster better than it was last season? Before we get to for real or phony, we're going to play this with some good cuts here. I did see this one, Sports GG on Twitter. Now, this is a Packer Twitter account, so I did confirm this, but Goody's defensive masterclass. Trade Rasul for a bag of chips, check. Release the top 3 cornerback instead of trading him, check. Pay Rashawn Gary $10 million per sack, check. Make a punt returner cornerback 1, check. Packers defense is looking scary this season.
Makes me feel great. Makes me feel like they're going to be so good this next year. Riley?
He's not wrong, unfortunately. That was a pretty good synopsis.
Before we get to for real or phony, which we're basically going to find out if Goody is telling the truth or if he's blowing smoke.
Do we even got to play it with him? I think we know what it is, right?
No, there may be some real in there. There may be some real. You'll have to wait and see.
We'll do that in a minute. But Chalmers Jewelers in Madison and in Middleton is Madison's custom jeweler, Madison's family-owned jeweler. So if you need an engagement ring, wedding band, earrings, necklace, any of those great things, go to Chalmers Jewelers in Madison or in Middleton. All right, let's play for real or phony.
Well, look who's talking now.
You talking to me? Well, who the hell else are you talking? Talking to me?
Now, are they speaking the truth?
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Or feeding us crap?
You're a phony! Hey, everybody! This guy's a great big phony!
Time to decide if it's for real or phony.
All right, guys, it's time for you to decide if Brian Gutekunst is being for real or phony. First and foremost, for real or phony, Brian Gutekunst, is he telling the truth about him feeling good about the Packers' cornerback depth?
No, I feel really good about it. Obviously the 3 guys that got that, I think combined have about 95 starts under their belt. Feel really good about that. We got some young guys I'm really interested to see compete for those kind of final roster spots. But no, I'm excited about where that group is. The 3 guys that have proven their ability in this league. I like their makeup, their toughness, their ability to play, so their versatility. So no, I'm excited about that group.
Can I just say, the first word out of his mouth was no. Play it again.
No, I feel really good
He
good
said
about it.
no
Obviously,
right away. I get it. Maybe the question was, are you feeling anxious about this group? Whatever it may be. He is so full of baloney. He is so phony, okay? There is no way that you feel good about this group. And then, knowing what we know now, that Bo Melton was on the field playing as a cornerback, you are taking him away from according to Jason, he was playing with the first offense too. So, whatever. But you're taking this guy that is supposed to be a veteran receiver on your team and putting him into an open cornerback position because you don't trust your cornerbacks that you have right now.
No, but he feels good about it.
No, he feels good about it. No, I feel great. I feel
You're
fine.
a phony!
I actually think it's worse. I think he does believe it.
You think so?
He is arrogant beyond belief. And he definitely, I think, believes that this is a room because he picked this room. And this is a room that he
has a lot of pride in.
And he definitely has supreme confidence in himself. And I think he picked this room, so I do think I'm going to put him down as for real.
All right, moving on to the next one. Brian Gutekunst. For real or phony, feeling good as well about having $45 million in cap space?
Pretty quickly because we did some things, take more of that on this year than next year. I think we'd like to keep next year's open as much as possible, so that'll change here in a little bit. We feel very good about our cap situation, our flexibility to do things not only with our players here, but if anything comes across that we may want to do. So we're like we've talked about in the past, we're in a pretty good spot right now. We'd like to keep it that way, but I think some things will come across today that you'll see that we'll be taking more of that on this year.
For real, I guess.
Yeah, I think a little bit of
Feels
phony.
confident.
They're over the cap next year, so they're not in a great place.
Yeah, I asked Jason the question. He didn't really answer it, I don't think.
Because the cap is, it's like there's always money in the banana stand. It is kind of more of like a theory than it is a real hard object. As I say the word theory, my phone lights up. I did not say Siri. I said theory. Goodness.
But you have a list.
Oh, now it's on my computer. Fantastic. I'm basically going to break the show. Don't ever say those words. SIRI, because everything in my life will just light up and go crazy. But I would say that he's for real on it, though.
Yeah, I guess I'll say for real, just because he was kind of honest about what their cap situation looks like. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, was that not the same tone, though, when he was talking about the cornerback room, Molly?
It kind of was, but also I kind of think he's a boring guy like the rest of the Green Bay Packers are. Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur. So I don't know what to take from that, because I feel like every single clip of Brian Gutekunst sounds the exact same. Like you could play a clip from Florida that happened at like the NFL owners meetings a couple months ago. You could play a clip at the end of the season when he said we need to be more urgent, and then talking about the salary cap. Like it all sounds the same. Very much the same.
How do we feel about, I just saw a video, the Packer offense is doing push-ups. They lost to the defense today.
That makes me feel horrendous because the defense, maybe Bo Melton picked Jordan Love off.
Bo Melton's a stud on the outside.
This is definitely not a Packer account, but the first team offense lost to a cornerback room made up of Panda Express employees. The cheeseheads are cooked.
But also,
it's early. I'm not worried.
But also, wasn't that the storyline last year during like training camp was that the defense looked so good they were beating the offense? Now, granted, the offense ended up not being great, but the defense also stunk.
The defense, I don't know for every team, they usually have the plays and they usually are way ahead, especially this time of year. So that's not an indication. It's just funny.
Yeah, and I mean, the Bears posted a video on social media like a couple weeks ago of an interception, and they conveniently cut out who's throwing the interception. So, anyways. Moving on to the final clip from Brian Gutekunst. For real or phony on releasing Jair Alexander?
Yeah, I think obviously we've done that the past few years, and it hasn't really worked out for us. I think as we went through it, was just something, we looked at a lot of different angles, what might be right for the club, and this is kind of where we ended up. But again, it was no bad blood. It's just kind of one of those things where over the last couple of years, it hasn't worked out exactly like we wanted to. Not for no fault of anybody, just the injuries kind of took some games away from them.
I'm going to go phony there. I think that the injuries are part of it, but I also think that they were like, we can move on past Jair. I listened to the Athletic podcast, and he was described not as a bad guy, but an interesting guy. So, and I don't think the Packers want interesting players because they can be a distraction. I don't think Jair was malicious. I don't think Jair is some sort of malcontent or some sort of cancer in the locker room. I just think he's a little different. And I think all things considered, Goody for sure, and maybe LaFleur, they don't want different. They want a bunch of people who will be, military.
Fall in line.
Yeah.
You're a phony.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with Jim. Phony here. I think that the Mark Murphy stuff from yesterday was actually more interesting, and just the way that he kind of threw Jair under the bus, which I feel like Brian Gutekunst almost kind of did just by saying like he didn't play a lot of games. So it's kind of interesting their way that they're talking about Jair. And if you're Jair, and I know that this happens to a lot of players because the NFL is a business at the end of the day. If you're Jair and like you're hearing these different things, like do you listen to what they're saying about you? Do you care what they say about you anymore because you're not on the team? Like I'm always just so curious about that from like a player's perspective.
I think it depends on the player. I think some will use it as fuel. Some might not want to deal with it because it could send them in a bad direction. But I think it depends on the player.
I feel like this is such coach corporate speak that I don't think Jair really cares. Like, he already had all these conversations.
Fair.
Probably heard more candor in those, or he's just hearing it all again. So
true.
I don't think he's too worried about that. But Jim, your point was interesting about the Packers, sort of the militia-esque atmosphere. I'm gonna draw a comparison here. Stay with me to the UFC.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Conor McGregor took over the UFC in his rise to the top and the double champ status, all of that. And since then, the UFC has never seen anyone close, even though there have been fantastic fighters, fantastic personalities. No one's reached those heights. And a lot of people speculate, not that there aren't people as interesting or as captivating as Conor McGregor, but because the UFC doesn't want anyone to ever again be bigger than the organization. And I think that could be the same thing with the Packers. They never want anyone to be above carrying the G.
I don't disagree. And that's not even a Goody thing. That's just been a Packers thing forever. They really haven't added. I mean, Marshawn Lynch wasn't brought in famously. Randy Moss famously wasn't brought in.
Yep.
Charles Woodson, I think early in his career was a little bit more controversial. By the time he got to Green Bay, it was fine. There's Za'Darius ran out of town when he got a little bit.
But isn't it funny that they take a chance on somebody like Brett Favre?
Brett Favre wasn't.
But he was a like known alcoholic. But when he came to Green Bay,
Well,
that's
he was
why.
only his second year in the league.
Yeah, but he was having problems with the Falcons.
Yeah, like not
because
showing
of
up to
it.
picture day and stuff.
Yeah, like he
True.
had issues too.
True.
So
I
that's
mean,
what's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying you're wrong. I think you're very much right.
I think you're okay. I would say this: they stunk, and they were the basically Siberia of the NFL. So I think they're like, look, we don't get to establish the Packer way when we stink. We just need to get anyone that can play football. And I think over time they're like, hey, let's
up.
Yeah, let's try to get. And I don't even know if it's off the field stuff. It's more of like in that locker room.
Yeah.
And I think by all accounts, especially early in his career, Favre was a locker room guy.
Interesting.
All right, that was For Real or Phony. Thank you, Riley. We're going to get the break here. We're going to throw some stones on the other side. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light, a finalist for Best of Madison Radio Team for the third year in a row. Vote every day this month at MadisonMagazine.com.
Siding Unlimited recently installed 20 brand new amazing energy efficient windows. Our Siding Unlimited crew removed the old windows, inspected the wall for wood rot, installed the new beautiful windows, and cleaned up behind ourselves. It was easy to get started. The homeowner met us at our amazing showroom on 2018 South Stoughton Road in Madison. Trust me, our showroom is a must-see. Looking for new windows, siding, roofing, and doors? Visit us at sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
Bringing summer gatherings to the next level is just another thing we do at Celebrations Entertainment. Hi, it's Jeffrey. With rental items like sound equipment, photo booths, and even yard games, you can make your event the party that everyone talks about. Any event like graduation parties, block parties, or even a backyard barbecue can be elevated with fun, interactive items to make everyone ask, hey, how'd you pull this off? Just tell them celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Zimbrick European. They're Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and certified pre-owns. But the best part is I've been working with them since 2018, and the evolution has been a 2-door, a 4-door, and now it's time for an SUV. My life has changed, and it's changed with Zimbrick European. Being a dad has made it really important to have the comfort and the safety that the SUV will bring me. Again, Zimbrick European off the belt line at Rimrock Road. Of course, I found the sexiest car on the lot. Check them out.
Cheesy Bites Pizza is back at Pizza Hut. For only $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. Plus, it comes with Pizza Hut's very own Ranch Lovers Flight, featuring 3 bold dips: Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Ready to dip into deliciousness? Well, hurry. It's only available for a limited time. Head to a Pizza Hut location or order online at pizzahut.com today. Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Hey, it's Alex Stroh from Mr. Irrelevant, and we are hitting the road. Friday, June 13th, spooky. We're heading to Door County Distillery in Carlsville. If you're spending the weekend in Door County, come check out Door County Distillery and hang out with us from noon until 2. That's Friday, June 13th at Door County Distillery in Carlsville. But even if you're not heading to Door County anytime soon, you can bring Door County to you with their cherry brandy for your old fashions infused with Door County cherries, whiskeys, rums, and plenty more. Check them out, doorcountydistillery.com.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light, a finalist for Best of Madison Radio Team in 2025. Vote for us every day this month at madisonmagazine.com.
Man, I got this swag. My head up to my bed. You know I'm popping tag. But man, I got this swag.
Go be a winner. Go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. That's where winners go. Millions of dollars are won every single weekend at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. So go be a winner and go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. Jim Rutledge with you alongside Molly Brown. Riley Youth with us in the Everlight Solar Studio. We are presented by Coors Light. It is nearing the end of the show, which means we got to throw them stones.
Some takes are cooler than others.
You know this kid is as cool as the other side of the pillow.
Some opinions are just cooler than the rest.
Now what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold.
And if you keep it chill, then it's a cold take.
Chill out. I'm chill. I'm chill as a cucumber, man. I'm always the coldest.
This is Throwing Stones, presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's chillest Kia dealership.
That's right. We do throw some stones, and I have a stone to throw, Molly, and Riley, you can both respond to it. Aaron Rodgers, frustrated with NFL's decision on preferred helmet model. Rodgers is having trouble finding a helmet that he's comfortable with ahead of the new season. This is from Mike McDaniel of Sports Illustrated. New Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has spent time between minicamp workouts this week trying to find a comfortable helmet. That's because the NFL banned Rodgers' preferred helmet, Shoot Air XP Q11, and he will not be allowed to wear it this fall. A year ago, Rodgers wore this helmet while the NFL contemplated the decision. It was listed as a not recommended for players last season and banned this season. And Rodgers expressed his frustration with the league's decision on Tuesday. I can't stand the new helmet. Rodgers said, I've worn a Shoot for 20 years, and somehow it finally didn't pass safety standards. Rodgers will eventually find a helmet to wear. But it is funny to me that he is Mr. Protect your brain, protect yourself, don't get vaccinated, be healthy, a whole thing. And then he's mad when the league's like, hey, this is just healthier for your head. So, mix it up. And now he's crying conspiracy.
I don't know what... I don't really understand what the conspiracy is, I guess, but...
But what he's saying is like
how I've worn it for how long? I'm right. Like, it's been totally fine this long. But also, our technology is advancing. Our research is advancing. All the things, right?
And this
like,
has been a multiple-year thing. Like, when
Yes.
you can actually look at the 2025 helmet laboratory testing performance results, and it does show green, yellow, and red.
Yeah, they lay this out every single year, and they're constantly upgrading the current stock of helmets. Riddell, Schutt, Axiom, all the Vices, like all these companies are making better and better helmets each and every year. I just don't understand this. And his old helmet was ugly, too. It was a bucket. It looked terrible.
If you look at the photo, like if you literally Google Aaron Rodgers Packers right now, there is a photo that comes up that it's for an article from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, and it's about Aaron Rodgers confirming that he's married. And he looks so dorky in this Pittsburgh Steelers helmet. It just looks goofy. But I will say that I do empathize with somebody who has played in the league for over 20 years, that really does probably have to be a major adjustment to get used to a way different feeling on your head. Like, I can understand how you could be frustrated and be like, okay, I've worn this for how long and I've been fine, but also, like we were just saying, technology advances, research advances. But, like, it does have to be something weird to all of a sudden switch because you've been used to it. Like, you're used to what this feels like on your head. You're used to how it feels to put it over your ears. Like, I can imagine that it would be uncomfortable, at least for the first week or so, and then I feel like you eventually get used to it. But
yeah, I understand that aspect, but there are other Schutt helmets out there, better versions, maybe not this exact model of helmet.
Yep.
But also I don't feel as much sympathy for him because I know for a fact Peyton Manning and Drew Brees and Kirk Cousins have had to do the exact same thing. They used to wear Riddell helmets, which I also thought were really ugly, and then they had to advance to the Speed Flex, which almost everyone wears now. And they were fine with it. You didn't hear them crying about it, so
Do you know which helmet I hate is the one that George Kittle wears? Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know what it's called.
That's the one with the fat, the lumps
weird.
On top. Yeah, that's like an O-line helmet. I don't like that either. I think it's a Vices.
I'm Googling it.
And so, I mean, with this, it's a sliding scale to your point, so this wasn't a secret.
No, this was going to happen. Yeah.
And it's not like he's being targeted by the league saying, you can't wear this helmet.
Right. They even allowed him to wear it last year. So it's just a weird hill to die on to be like, finally banned. Like, why are you this upset about a helmet? Like, why are you letting it get in your head? Like, I understand, like, maybe you have your routine, but also, like, you'll be able to find one. I don't think the inside fit is that dramatically different.
No. Also, there's no chance.
Riley, how do you know the names of all of these different helmets? Like, the one that George Kittle wears is Vices 02 Trench. How do you even, like, I've never heard the word Vices before today. I've known of Shoot, I've known of Riddell, like, I've known of all those because those are the major brands, but, like, never heard of Vices.
Yeah, no, I'm a big uniform dork for one, so, like, I keep track
and you said
of
it, how you say it? It's Shoot.
I pronounced it Schutt.
I've always pronounced it Schutt. I thought it was Shoot, but if he's saying
he
Schutt,
knows his helmets.
I'm going Schutt.
I always thought it was Schutt. I've never heard it pronounced differently, so you guys could be right.
No, I'm going to go with you on that.
I'll go with you.
Yeah, I'll even read, like, uniform-based blog posts, so, like, I'm up to date on this stuff, and then, you know, Madden college football video games help as well, because when I create a player, I got to pick a cool helmet. So, you know, sometimes I'm feeling the Schutt, sometimes I'm feeling the Speed Flex. I'm not a big Vices guy. They don't look as bad anymore, but outside of the one
so
George
if you were
Kittle
going to wear a
wears.
helmet, what helmet are you wearing?
I'd go with the Speed Flex, and then with the it's called a robot face mask that's got the extra lines, what the running backs typically wear. That's my favorite.
What position would you play if you were in the NFL?
Let's see.
Or which one would you want to play?
Well, I had a pretty good game last night as my flag football quarterback, so probably
Do you wear
QB.
a helmet when you play?
No.
Do the Badgers rock that? I do see a Badger logo on one of the helmets there. Yeah. The Speed Flex here.
Yeah, Speed Flex is very probably the most popular helmet right now.
Looks like it got some aeration in it.
Yep.
Are they all matte colored? MATTE, matte color?
No, that depends on the team and the paint job.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just feel like the first ones I pulled up were all matte color, and I'm like, do they only come in this?
No, I want to throw out this other stone because I kind of love this idea. I think quarterbacks like goalies should be allowed to do their own helmet.
You think what?
Oh, like customize it?
Yeah, like a goalie in hockey, they got their own customized helmet.
Why?
I want to die on that hill. I want quarterbacks to have their own customized helmet.
And what can they put on it? Like
anything, right?
Yeah.
And have like those sick custom paint jobs with like the logos
Google,
and stuff
goalie
like that.
helmets. They're elite.
Okay, I'm
I feel like Ed Belfour had one with like a hawk on it and everything. You can see like it's just whatever you want it to be.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Okay, so if you were designing Jim, you were the quarterback for the Chicago Bears, and you get a custom helmet. What is on your Chicago Bears custom helmet?
Oh man, that's tough. That's a great question. I'll put some sort of bear on it, probably like a ferocious looking bear. Let's see here. I gotta do something with the number 23 in the city of Chicago. That's Devin Hester, Michael Jordan, Ryan Sandberg.
Okay.
So like it is a elite number in the city of Chicago. So if I'm quarterbacking the Bears there, I probably want to work in. I'd try to work on something for my girls. Like I have the rose and magnolia tattoo on my arm, so maybe something in there as well. And an owl, if I could, again, back to my tattoo from FAU. So like I'd try to work those elements into it.
I was thinking for the Bears that you could do like a really cool looking bear that's like, Arr! You know what I mean?
I want something like aggressive.
Yeah, there could be that. Yeah. What are you gonna do for the Packers?
That's what I was
trying
to think.
A Coors Light and a slice of cheese? Like what are we gonna do?
Like the cheese pattern across the helmet. I've seen that in like concept art before.
The state bird is a robin.
A
That's
robin's
not thing.
Great.
Not scary.
You could do like Vince Lombardi on it, but that might be a little weird to have like a painting of Vince Lombardi on your helmet.
Yeah.
The Lombardi Trophy?
Yeah. Yep. Titletown, you could have written.
Titletown would work. Lombardi Trophy, you can't put that on unless you won. That's just a lot.
Yeah. Put that for all the.
But you can put
Super
your own
Bowls you
personal
win.
stuff on it though too.
Yeah,
you can have a
I
little bit of.
I'd definitely keep the G. I'd keep the stripe. I'd keep it probably pretty traditional
Yeah.
for the most part.
Honestly, a helmet that's the design of what your hat is right now, the Super Bowl hat
Oh,
from
that's
back in
pretty
the
sick.
day.
Yeah.
Super Bowl 31, I believe.
Give us dazzling details there.
Yeah.
You can see that on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream.
It's pretty sweet. I think we were just talking about how elite that hat is like the other day.
You gonna
great.
Give us the details?
Oh, you want me to give the details?
Yeah.
Oh, I believe, well, it is the Super Bowl 31, greatest number.
Yep.
Championship hat that the Packers got. I believe it's like very New Orleans themed,
Yes,
correct?
it's got like the saxophone
Yeah.
on it, the purple, the like masquerade
Yep,
mask on
purple
it.
bill.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just elite hat.
Yeah.
It's a good hat, without a doubt.
Thank you.
Check it out on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream if you want more dazzling detail.
Yes.
Riley's a great model.
Right.
I try.
You got nothing, Molly? Nothing you can put on your G helmet?
That's what I was. I brainstormed. I don't know. I actually might be out on this idea. Now, the more I think about it.
Just keep it uniform.
It would be. I mean, obviously they're never gonna do it, but it'd just be a fun way. I like it with the shoes for the players.
Yeah.
They get a little freedom.
The NFL is really strict on uniform policy.
Yeah. So I don't think they're gonna have a lot of leeway into it, but the NBA's got it where like Kobe had the Grinch shoes for certain games and like.
I was gonna say, has the NFL lightened up on the shoes? Because remember, just a couple of years ago, Alvin Kamara was he got fined for having like two different colored shoes on like a Christmas game. Do you remember this? I think he
Yes.
wore like a red and a green shoe, and then he ended up getting like a huge fine.
Yep. Yeah, the NFL, they're slowly but surely lightening up. Like, I think this year, teams can have up to 3 different helmets, and they can have throwback uniform. It's incremental progress. Like, it used to be, they had the one shell rule for the longest time. So even if you had a throwback uniform, the helmet, the uniform better match the color of the helmet that you normally wear, which is why the Packers had to have the stupid yellow helmet, and they kept a green face mask for a blue uniform, and it looked terrible. I'm so glad they got rid of that rule.
Same.
All right, we'll wrap the show up next. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Madison on YouTube.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Ben Brust here to tell you about why your next work van should be from Mercedes-Benz Sprinter at Zimbrick European. First off, we have versatility. The Sprinter vans offer 16 body types and thousands of ways to customize that space. Number 2, we have reliability. Sprinter's most powerful diesel engines last longer and require less maintenance, spend more time on the road and less time in those bays. Number 3, we have safety. Sprinter's safety technologies include curtain airbags all around, load adaptive electronic stability program, and crosswind and attention assist. Number 4, Van Care Mobile. Our maintenance team can come to you with routine service. Who wants to go in? Let them come to you. They work with multiple trucks on one visit. Use the Mercedes Me Connect. And last but not least, get your Zimbrick Sprinter at Zimbrick European at Rimrock Road and the Beltline, or go online at ZimbrickEuropean.com because your next Mercedes Sprinter van is waiting for you.
I knew that we were going to be getting engaged soon and needed to do some ring shopping. Heard the radio ads of Chalmers and decided, hey, we should give it a shot at Chalmers.
They were just awesome at accepting us through the door and understanding what she wanted in terms of how she wanted it, and they delivered.
Everybody always is telling me how sparkly my ring is. They tell me that they really like the style of the ring and the setting that it's in. I am ecstatic with it.
Thank you, Chalmers.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here with an offer for a bath or shower remodel from Kohler Services.
Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get 0 interest financing for 12 months and a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast, professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Madison School and Community Recreation's For Friends golf outing is Wednesday, July 23rd at the Oaks Golf Course. Hey, it's Jesse Nelson. New this year is the Laid Back Links Golf Clinic, an instructional golf clinic for beginners who would like to improve their golf game. Taught by the Oaks professional golf staff, this group lesson includes dinner and drinks, plus a chance to win prizes in the raffle and silent auction. Head to birdease.com/MSCR for more information and to register today. That's BIRDEASE.com/MSCR.
Have you been waiting to buy your next home? Stop. Now is the time to get housed. What's up, Madison? It's Stacy from Bruner Realty. Nobody has a crystal ball to know what the future holds. The longer you wait to find your next home, the better the chance you'll be paying more for it than you would be today. Don't miss out on what could be the best opportunity to find your dream home. Contact our team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to help start your search. That's BrunerRealtyInc.com. Let's get housed.
Immediate live show streaming. A homepage customized just for you. The brand new ESPN Wisconsin app. Your state, your teams, your ESPN.
But if you're just doing this because you're starting to not believe the Packers are going to bring in a number one wide receiver.
The ESPN Wisconsin app. Everything in the palm of your hand.
Who are the top guys?
And Dobbs.
That is the problem.
No, I totally
that is
agree.
The problem. You have never called Xavier McKinney the wrong name.
Available in the Apple and Android App Store. Download the ESPN Wisconsin app today. Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Jim, Matt, and Molly continue live from the Everlight Solar Studio. Jim Rutledge alongside Molly Brown, Riley Yauk behind the glass. Matt Hamilton out fishing. You can stream us on the ESPN Madison YouTube stream. You can stream us with the ESPN Wisconsin app. We are presented by Coors Light. If the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's Crush, a Coors Light.
We have a couple of Siding Unlimited poll questions. You can chime in on the Carbo Stock text line 844-770-3776. This is more. And one of them is wrong answers only. Where did Aaron Rodgers meet his wife? If you are new, Aaron Rodgers, unhappy with his helmet, but happy with his spouse. And we also have another question. Are the Green Bay Packers better today than they were when last season ended? 60% of you say yes.
I don't know how you can say yes. I've said it multiple times. Like, there's no world that you feel more confident about this team right now than you did just a couple months ago.
And the part of it is that when you add in the layers of, I maintain that if you're not actively adding players to get better at positions of need, you're maybe going backwards a little bit. Matthew Golden's a good player. Savion Williams, good player. We'll assume. Benton, offensive lineman, good player. They needed pass rush and they needed corners. And I'm never a fan of a GM thinking they're smarter than everyone else. The league, at least media-wise, people who speak publicly will look at the Packers and say, they needed a corner and they needed a pass rush. Packers said we needed more wide receivers. Wide receivers, the room is fine. The cornerback room is not fine.
Nope.
The offensive line was fine. You already spent money on the offensive line. So, why didn't you add somewhere in there a pass rusher or a corner?
Right.
And so, that would be a different conversation. It doesn't have to be through free agent. You could have just added someone that fit a need, but fit a need that, actually could play this year.
Yeah, no, I think, at least I imagine, the reason so many people are saying yes is because they think that Matthew Golden is what's going to raise the Packers to be better than what they were, which I understand. I get it. He was your first-round pick. You want to have that faith in that guy. You think that he's going to be a clear-cut number one. You think he's going to make Jordan Love better. You think he's going to make the rest of the offense better. You think they're going to score more points when they score more games. But I don't see that happening, at least not year one, and I don't think that the team can rest on that.
What do you think this Elton Jenkins thing is going to land here? So per Tom Pelissalo, Elton Jenkins skipped voluntary workouts with his contract. He is reported to mandatory minicamp, but he's like with the vets doing some stretching, the injured players. He's got $24 million. He's got 2 years left on his 4-year, $68 million contract. He's got $24 million in total guarantees left. I mean, they lock him up, right? At least I think he's really just looking like, hey, just guarantee my money.
That's literally it.
Yeah.
And I think it just comes down to, are you pro team or are you pro player? And I think in this situation, if you stand behind Elton Jenkins, you're pro player, right? Because he deserves the money.
Yeah.
Because look what can happen if
adding context to it, moving guard to center is likely going to be a pay cut for him.
Yep.
And so it could hurt him long term going into free agency. And he's not saying, hey, get rid of me or I'm not going to do it. He's just saying, if you're going to do this, make me whole.
Yes.
So you're really looking at I get what you're saying, it's pro player, pro team, but it's really like, hey, you should be pro the Packers doing this because it's just a bad look for the Packers.
But also, I don't think that they're scared of looking bad. That's what makes me nervous about this thing.
I mean, if Elton Jenkins, and I guess if they force Elton Jenkins to play, it's just because of obviously at some point he's going to play and get paid, but he might not show up healthy or ready to play, and it's a new position. He can drag this out a little bit.
And also, you don't want him to not be prepared to play because who is he protecting? He's protecting your $55 million quarterback, right?
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's not a great situation for what's going to happen. And, Brian Bulaga was on the Wilde and Tausch show last Thursday, and he agrees with us because he really made a strong case for why the Packers need to figure things out with Elton Jenkins.
I did not have the audio ready. Give me 1 sec.
Okay. Sorry, I was trying to give you time to get it ready there, but I did not get there.
Riley's new here. It's fine. Yeah, I'm curious to see, because we do have Tausch joining us tomorrow, right? Because it's Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday tomorrow. And I'm curious to see what he thinks about this, too. I know we've talked to him about it in the past, but to me, I'm just like, why even mess around with it? But also, the Packers are just being very weird about the offensive line in general this season, with just saying that there's competition on the offensive line. Like, nobody's job is safe, which I don't love that. I hate that, actually. So, I don't know.
I almost got... Tell me when you have the audio ready. All right. You have it? Okay, let's hear it.
For the Packers, I don't know how much they can push it, because you're right. If they do, and they do release him, the line will be around the block for Elton, because Elton is a very good player, and he's not even 30 yet. And guess what? Teams will pay him to play guard. They will pay him to play center. Some may even pay him to potentially play tackle. It doesn't matter. He will make a lot of money if they release him. To me, Jason, what you said makes the absolute most sense. Just add a void year, guarantee a percentage, and just figure this thing out and move on with it. Just move on with it, and don't make this an issue going into camp. It's just it seems so meaningless to make this a story, right? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Now, Jim, don't take this the wrong way, but you've been around the block a little bit, right?
Okay.
You've been around teams. You've been around teams in the NFL. You've covered multiple teams. You've been here. Has this always been a thing that has happened? I wanted to ask Jason this, but I feel like just with all the Jair Alexander news and everything that's come out, it's just, I'm just wondering if the way that contracts are being negotiated, the way that players are holding out, the way that, you just said it, Elton Jenkins is reporting, but he's literally doing it so he doesn't get fined. He doesn't want to lose money, so he's just practicing with the injured, whatever it is. Has that always been a thing, or is this kind of with the new world, the new way that the money is in the NFL?
I remember Roquan Smith with the Bears had a hold-in. Same idea. He was there. The team didn't want to blow everything up, so they're fine, just show up, stretch, be around the team. We'll call it that you're here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a good sign that that's what's happening, because clearly if the Packers didn't want Elton Jenkins, they would have cut him like Jair. They don't want the risk of that money around the team. So I don't think it's completely uncommon. You usually see, TJ Watt is not at camp, Trey Hendrickson not at camp, and they are not getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a different, maybe more explosive scenario. And I think this time around, it's a good sign that something will get done. Maybe something happens here soon, because the Packers still would have some money available that they could put a lot of his money into the salary cap this year still, and keep next year open.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like mind-blowing. It's not anything completely out of left field. And I think it's a good sign that he ends up playing.
I hope
for
so.
the Packers this year.
Yeah. No, and like, I don't know. I guess we do talk to Jason later this week that I am curious to see if he has any, because I mean, he's been covering the Packers since the 90s. So I just think about those times back in the day. Like, what were players' tactics to get their money then? Because obviously there's always been the money aspect. There's always been guys want to get paid. There's always been that. But like, has it been done in the same way, or do they just kind of be like, they'll take care of me? You know, that's kind of where my mind goes. I just wonder that.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. You can stream the show on the ESPN Wisconsin app, and you can listen back to the show on the ESPN Wisconsin app as well. You can chime in on the Carl Stock and text line 844-770-3776. This is More Wrong Answers Only. Where did Aaron Rodgers meet his spouse? I almost got when we were talking here. It was NBA Centel. This is a good one. It made me laugh.
Worse.
I love Centel.
Yeah. The Milwaukee Bucks have made Kyle Kuzma untouchable in all trade talks. That's a good one.
Understandable.
Is he going to be on the team? Like, what's going to happen to Kyle Kuzma? Can they get rid of him?
I don't know if they have a choice.
I was going to say, doesn't he owe like $22 million?
I did see, I think it was Bill Simmons. It's been floated. I don't see how it works, but like a guy like Michael Porter Jr. doesn't carry a lot of value right now because he's kind of sometimes injured, and could Kuzma be more valuable to the Nuggets instead of him? And you're kind of just taking a long shot. There was the news today, allegedly. I mean, what do we make of the news about Giannis apparently telling, but there's no video and there's no audio? Giannis telling, I don't know if it was Euro Hoops or something, that he wants to win another title, hopefully in Milwaukee.
I believe there's nothing to be shown that is accurate.
And then the other part of it is, even the way that it's said, well, one, Giannis could verify it at any point now.
Right.
But two, the inflection would matter on it.
What do you mean?
I want to win. I'm watching these NBA finals, and I want to get to another one, hopefully with Milwaukee.
I don't.
Because if I say it like that just means like, hopefully it's in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I feel like that's why we have to wait until something's substantiated, like there's a video or an audio clip, because just the quote with nothing, just hearsay.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
And I do find it interesting that the Bucks came out today. Obviously, they didn't come out, but they told Wendy, like, hey, we're not trading Giannis. And Homer, from Steve the Homer True, has been pretty adamant that this is a nothing thing. And I kind of agree with them, because if Giannis is not going to come out and say he wants to get traded. So even if this was true, I don't think it means he's going to stay. I also don't think it means any of the reports ahead of time, if this is all true, is false. Because that's the other thing that's bothering people, are like tweeting at Shams or getting mad at ESPN. The ESPN report was that Giannis is open to the idea of playing for another team.
Rubbish.
And I think Giannis, I think that's real. I think now that could be Giannis putting pressure on the Bucks. He's done it before. So that's the part I don't understand, is like, Bucks fans, he's done this before. That's how they got Drew. He kind of was like, look, maybe I'll look around or do something.
Yeah.
And they did something.
It's just so interesting, because I feel like I've heard other people say the opposite, where people are speculating, like, actually, if Giannis does want to trade, that the Milwaukee Bucks are going to say, okay, you have to come out and say that because we don't want to look like the bad guys. So I'm curious how that ends up shaking out.
Yeah, I'm not putting a lot of stock into it. I know a lot of Bucks fans are trying to dunk all over all the reporters that had other reports. Hopefully he wants to stay, but I don't think it's real. This has been Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented by Coors Light.
Looking to transform your home with stylish furniture and home accessories without breaking the bank? At your local IKEA in Oak Creek, they believe everyone deserves a beautiful and affordable living experience that enhances your everyday life. From comfortable and fashionable sofas and sectionals to